So yesterday we talked about how you can go ahead and translate word problems into actual equations and then solving the equations. What we're focusing on for today is word problems that are going to result in a variable on both sides and how to properly set those conditions up. So for here, when we know that we're looking for a situation in which we're setting them equal to each other, setting two components equal to each other, it will say at what point are they equal or at what point are they the same. That's when you know that you're going to have a situation with variables on both sides. So for this very first thing, it says Pedro opened his account with $710. Then he withdrew 20 or 35 per week. Maria opened her account with $570 and withdrew 25 weekly. So we're going to write and solve an equation that shows how many weeks their accounts will be equal. At what point or at what week value are they going to be equal to each other? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to set Pedro equal to Maria. So we have to identify Pedro's information first. So for Pedro's information, he starts off with $710 and then withdraws $35 weekly. That setup right here, starting at $710 and then withdrawing money, that means you are subtracting $35 every single week. And then we're going to be setting this equal to Maria's account. So for Maria's account, Maria has her account at $570 and withdraws $25 every single week. So she starts with $570 and she is removing or subtracting $25 every single week. So this is what it's going to look like when we set them up to where they're equal to each other. We have 710 minus 35W is equal to 570 minus 25W. Then we can start solving. Guys, this, you're going to have several questions in which you are just setting up equations. You have to know how to set up the equation properly. So you'll have a question or two or three on your test in which you are just writing out what the equation is going to look like, not even solving. Some of them you will be solving, so you need to know how to do both. Okay, so when we're setting this up, we want to move one of the variables to the other side. So we are either going to add or subtract to move the variable to the other side. Does it matter which variable I focus on? No. It does not matter. If you want to go ahead and add 35 to both sides, you can. If you want to add 25 to both sides, you can. It doesn't matter. Okay? I'm going to add 35W to both sides because I want to focus on making sure I don't have a negative for my variable right now. That's my only purpose. So when I do so, the 35Ws are going to zero pair out. I'm left with 710 is now equal to 570 plus 10W. And now it's just a two-step equation that we're solving. Just two steps. What is the first step that I need to do? Mario. Sorry, that's a 570.
Oh, my bad.
That's a 570. Okay, so we're going to subtract 570 from both sides. Okay, the 570s are going to cross off and cancel out. When we do 710 minus the 570, that's going to leave us with 140. And then that will be set equal to 10W. And our last step is to do what? Amy? Divide them both by 10, right? We're dividing both sides by 10. And 14 weeks. 14 weeks is when they're going to be set equal to each other. After 14 weeks, they both will have the same amount. Okay, so a magic carpet, number 2. Magic carpet charges $90 for installation and $9 per square yard of carpeting. The Carpeteria's installation is going to be $50, but their store charges $13 for each square yard that they're installing. So we're going to write and solve an equation that represents the number of square yards of carpeting that the cost, including installation, is going to be the same for both stores. Okay, so again, the idea of setting them so that they're both the same, they're both equal to each other, you're just writing one side equal to another side. So we're going to start with the Magic Carpet store. $90 for installation, $9 per square yard. Who can raise their hand and tell me what is that going to look like if I'm writing $90 for installation and $9 per square yard? Zachary?
90 plus 9y.
Good. 90 plus 9y, so y being the yards. Okay, now we need to set this equal to our other side. It's the Carpeteria side. Carpeteria has $50 of installation and $13 for every square yard. What is that going to look like? Fatima?
50 plus 13y.
Good. $50 plus the 13y. $50 plus 13y. $90 installation, $9 per yard. This is $50 for the installation and $13 per yard. So that's set equal to each other. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and solve. We're going to pick one of the variables to move to the other side. I'm going to pick 9y. If I pick 9y, am I going to add 9y to both sides or subtract 9y from both sides? What am I going to do here, guys? Subtract. We need to subtract. We're subtracting 9y from both sides of the equation. So the 9y's are now going to get zeroed out. They're gone. I'm left with 90 is equal to 50. And then if I do 13y minus 9y, what is that? 4y. So I get a positive 4y plus 4y. I'm left with a positive 4y, so that makes it a plus 4y. All right, from here, first step, first inverse operation that we're going to do with the two-step equation. What are we going to do, Jacqueline? Good. We're going to subtract the 50 from both sides. Okay. So 90 minus 50 gives me 40. Those 50s are going to go ahead and cancel out. They're zero pairs. And we're left with a positive 4y. Okay, Maggie, what's our last step? Divide by 4. Good. So we're going to divide both sides by 4. And that's going to give us y is equal to 10. So that means at 10 yards, that's when they're going to be square yards. Sorry, 10 square yards. They just are. All right, I want you guys to try problems 3, 4, and 5 on your own. You're going to write what the equation would be, and then you're going to solve the equation. Write what the equation would be, and then solve the equation. Okay, for problem number 3, you should have set it up as 44 plus 0.06 m. Okay, that's $44, and then 6 cents per mile. 6 cents. 6 cents. Guys, if you put 6 is not the same thing as 6 cents. 6 cents is 0.06. And then for Gateway Auto, it's $35 per day, and then 9 cents, so 0.09 per mile. All right, when you solve it, the first thing that I would do is I would go ahead and subtract 0.06 m from both sides. That's going to leave you with 44 is now equal to 35 plus 0.03 m. You would then subtract the 35 from both sides. When you do 44 minus 35, that's going to leave with 9. And 9 is equal to 0.03 m. And then our last step is to divide both sides by 0.03. What did we get? 3. What? Okay. All right. So you get 300 miles. So if you did it differently, if you did 6 and 9 instead of 6 cents and 9 cents, you would have gotten 3 as your answer. That wouldn't work out. Okay? All right. For problem number 4, we've got the first savings account set up, $250 in the savings account, $15 per week that they're going to continue saving. Then we've got the second savings account, $200 that they're starting off, but they're going to save $20 per week. Okay, I'm going to subtract 15W from both sides. I like to stick with the one that's the smaller amount. That's going to leave me with 250 is now equal to 200 plus 5W. Then I would subtract 200 from both sides. That's going to leave me with 50 is now equal to 5W. Our last step would be to divide both sides by 5. And we would get W is going to be equal to 10. So after 10 weeks, that's when they're going to be identical. Okay, for the last one, we've got one plan versus another plan. One plan says that they're going to give you $250 for a salary and $25 for commission for every stereo you sold. I didn't want to use S because my S looks too much like a 5. So I used X instead. So $250 for the salary, $25 for every stereo. The other plan doesn't have a salary. So there is nothing that we're adding onto this. It's just going to be the commission that they earned for every stereo that they sell, so the 50X. Okay, so to solve this, I'm going to first just go ahead and subtract 25X from both sides. It helps get rid of those X's on one side. That leaves me with 250 is now equal to 25X. And then all I have to do here is just divide by 25. And we'll get that X is going to be equal to 10. So after 10 stereos, once they sell 10 stereos, they're the same. The commission or the salary, the amount of money that they earn is going to be the same after 10 stereos. Any questions? Awesome.